He called it the most perfect song ever written. That's a heavy statement, especially coming from him. This was a man who had heard and sung thousands of songs. He built a kingdom on music. Rock and roll, gospel, blues, country. He could sing anything and make it his. He had access to the best songwriters, the best musicians, the best studios. He could have chosen one of his own earth-shaking hits, a song that made the world scream and dance. He could have picked a deep gospel hymn that touched his soul, but he picked this one, a simple ballad, a quiet promise, a song that feels less like a performance and more like a confession. So why this one? What did he see in it? What made it perfect in his eyes? It wasn't about the noise it made, it was about the silence it created. When he sang it, especially later in his career, a hush would fall over the biggest arenas. Thousands of people, all holding their breath, listening to this one simple thought. The song's power wasn't in its volume, but in its intimacy. It felt like he was singing it to one person, even when he was singing it to 20,000. To understand why he felt this way, you have to look at the song from a few different angles. You have to look at where it came from. You have to look at how it's built. And you have to look at what he did with it. Because the song existed before him, in a way. And it has existed after him. But his version is the one that seems to be carved in stone. Let's start with its strange beginnings. It wasn't written in a frantic session in Memphis or Nashville. It didn't come from the rock and roll world at all. It was written for a movie. One of his travelogue films from the early 60s, the kind of movie that was often light on plot and heavy on scenery and songs. The soundtracks for these films were often a mixed bag. For every gem, there were a handful of forgettable situational tunes. Songs about clam bakes or yoga. This song was destined for one of those movies. The setting was Hawaii. The scene was a quiet one. He was supposed to sing it to an old woman. He gives her a music box, he opens it, and a gentle melody plays. Then, he starts to sing. It's a birthday gift, a moment of tenderness. The producers and movie executives almost threw it out. They didn't think it was a good fit. It was too slow, too serious for a lighthearted musical comedy. They thought it dragged the pace down. He had to fight for it. He put his foot down and insisted. He told them that this was the song he wanted to sing in this scene. He felt something in it from the very beginning. He won that fight. And in doing so, he saved a piece of music that would come to define the softer, more vulnerable side of his legacy. But the song's roots go even deeper than a Hollywood movie set. The melody, the beautiful cascading tune that feels so familiar, wasn't written in the 1960s. It was written in the 1780s. It's based on a French classical piece, a love song called Plaisir d'amour. The composer was Jean-Paul Aguide Martini, a man who wrote music for the court of Marie Antoinette. This is a crucial piece of the puzzle. The melody itself was already proven to be timeless. It had survived for nearly 200 years before it ever found its way to him. It has a classical grace, a formal structure that you don't find in most pop songs. It feels old and new at the same time, but what's really fascinating is the original song's message. Plaisir d'amour is not a happy song. It's a song of heartbreak. The lyrics translate to something like, the pleasure of love lasts only a moment. The grief of love lasts a lifetime. It's a sad, cynical take on love, a warning. The writers who adapted it for him took that beautiful, melancholic melody and performed a kind of alchemy. They flipped the entire meaning on its head. They kept the gentle, almost sorrowful quality of the tune, but they paired it with words of absolute devotion and surrender. They took a melody about love being fleeting and turned it into a hymn about love being inevitable and eternal. This contrast is part of its genius. The music has a touch of sadness, a hint of vulnerability that gives the hopeful lyrics weight. It doesn't feel like a bubbly, naive pop song. It feels like a love that has been considered. The wise men have spoken. Their warnings have been heard. The singer knows the risks. He knows that love can lead to grief, but he proceeds anyway. He has no choice. He can't help it. That's where the perfection starts. It's built on a foundation of classical beauty, but it speaks a simple modern truth. Now let's look at the song itself. The structure, it's so simple, it's almost transparent. It starts with a famous piece of advice. Wise men say only fools rush in. It's a cliche, a proverb, something a father might tell his son. It sets up a conflict immediately. The head versus the heart, logic versus emotion. The song acknowledges the wisdom of caution right from the start. It doesn't dismiss it. It says, yes, I know the rules, I know what I'm supposed to do. But then, the turn. But I can't help falling in love with you. That line is the core of the whole song. It's a statement of helplessness. It's not a boast. It's not a pickup line. It's an admission. This feeling is bigger than me. It's out of my control. The use of the word falling is perfect. You don't decide to fall, it happens to you. It's a surrender to gravity, to a force of nature. The melody reflects this perfectly. If you trace the notes, they gently cascade downwards. It's a slow, controlled descent. It literally sounds like what it feels like to fall. There are no big, dramatic leaps. It's a step-by-step progression that feels completely natural, almost preordained. The harmony is simple too. It's built around a few basic chords that flow into each other seamlessly. The accompaniment, especially in the original recording, is sparse. A little guitar, a gentle bass, soft drums, and the celestial sound of a celesta, which gives it that music box quality from the movie scene. There's nothing to distract from the voice and the sentiment. The song's structure is a classic ABBA form, common in pop music from that era. You have the first verse, which states the theme, you have the second verse, which deepens it. Then you have the bridge, the part that shifts the perspective. And then you return to the main theme. The second verse asks a question. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin? This introduces a moral dimension. Is this love forbidden? Is it wrong? The stakes are raised. This isn't just a casual crush. There are real consequences. The next line provides the answer, and it's a powerful one. If I can't help falling in love with you, the feeling itself becomes its own justification. It's so pure and strong that it can't possibly be a sin. It's a higher law. Then comes the bridge, the song's emotional peak. Like a river flows, surely to the sea. Darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. This is the only piece of real poetry in the song, the only metaphor, and it's a perfect one. A river doesn't struggle to get to the sea. It doesn't fight its own nature. It just flows. It follows the path of least resistance, drawn by a power it doesn't need to understand. The metaphor connects this personal, intimate feeling of love to the grand, impersonal forces of the natural world. My love for you is like gravity. It's like a river flowing to the ocean. It's not a choice. It's destiny. After this moment of universal truth, the song gently comes back down. Take my hand. Take my whole life too. It's the logical conclusion. If this love is an unstoppable force of nature, then the only response is total surrender. It's an offering, not just for a date, not just for a night, but for a whole life. And the final line repeats the central theme, the helpless confession that started it all. For I can't help falling in love with you. The song ends where it began, but the line means more now. It's been tested against wisdom, against sin, against nature itself, and it has held true. So, the structure is perfect. The lyrics are simple but profound. The melody is timeless. Any decent singer could have a hit with a song built like this, but they wouldn't be him. His performance is the final, essential ingredient. It's what elevates the song from a well-crafted piece of music to a cultural touchstone. He had one of the most powerful and recognizable voices in human history. He could shake the walls. He could snarl, shout, and scream with raw energy. He does none of that here. He sings it with an incredible tenderness. His voice is soft, almost breathy. He's not performing for the back row, he's whispering in your ear. There's a fragility to it, a vulnerability that was often hidden behind the gold-laced suits and the swagger. When he sings Fools Rush In, he sounds like he knows exactly what that means. When he sings Take My Whole Life Too, you believe he means it. The sincerity is what sells it. In a world of hype and performance, this felt real. It was a glimpse of the man behind the myth. The boy from Tupelo who loved his mother and who sang gospel music because it moved his soul. This song has the same quiet reverence as a hymn. It's a prayer to love itself. As his life became more chaotic, more isolated, this song seemed to take on even more meaning. It became the closing number for his concerts, the grand finale. After all the rock and roll, all the karate kicks, all the spectacle, the show would end with this quiet moment of connection. The lights would dim. A single spotlight would find him. He would sing it, not as the boy in the Hawaiian movie, but as a king at the end of his reign. He would pour all the love, the pain, and the weariness of his life into those simple words. It was his final message to his audience, his final gift, a moment of pure, unvarnished emotion. Maybe that's why he thought it was perfect. In a life full of complications, of pressures and expectations he could never escape, this song was a simple truth. It cut through everything. It was about a feeling so pure and powerful that it couldn't be denied. A feeling that was beyond his control, just like so much of his own life. The perfection lies in its balance. It's simple without being simplistic. It's emotional without being melodramatic. It's classical, but it feels personal. It's a pop song that feels like a sacred text. It's a song about surrender. And for a man who had to fight for everything, who had to carry the weight of being a global icon, maybe the idea of surrendering to something so beautiful and so pure was the most perfect thought in the world. He saw the song's potential when others wanted to discard it. He infused it with a sincerity that no other singer has ever quite matched. and he used it to communicate with his audience on the deepest possible level. He didn't just sing the song, he inhabited it. He made it his own testament. It's a song you hear at weddings, you hear it in movies, you hear it when people need to express a feeling that words alone can't quite capture. It has become part of our cultural language for love. It has been covered by countless artists in every imaginable style. Some are good, some are not. But none of them ever eclipse the original. None of them have that same lightning in a bottle. The song is a paradox. It's a sad melody with happy words. It's a simple song about a complex emotion. It's a quiet ballad that became an anthem for the king of rock and roll, and it was that perfect, beautiful paradox that he understood better than anyone. The song was, of course, Can't Help Falling in Love.